In 2005, when I was still young and I could still get by with less than 8 hours of sleep, I pulled up to the local gym on the weekend. It was my regular routine on Saturdays, go play a game of pickup basketball. My knee still worked back then, my back still worked back then, and it seemed like any other Saturday was going to be just a pickup run for 2 hours, go home, shower, eat, sleep. That was it. But on this particular Saturday, it was different. Some kid that I tangentially knew, like I knew his name, but we weren't like acquaintances or anything. We just kind of knew that each other existed. He pulled up in a fresh pair of Jordan 10s. I don't know what it was about that moment. I was like, I want those. I really wanted those. And it just left a lasting impression on me. It wasn't an OG Jordan 10, it was a retro version. Now later on, I found out that kid, his parents were like private jet rich. Like that's how they travel. They don't fly with other people like us peasants. The year after, I saw him with like the Jordan 21, the red suede colorway, and I was like, you. And as someone whose parents didn't have private jets, as a kid, you kind of think, my life now is just how it's going to be forever. I never thought I'd have a chance to own that Jordan 10 that he had on feet, but I made it. I have them. 20 years later, I have them. Air Jordan 10 Steel. And this shoe is dropping on August 2nd for $210. It is an OG colorway. This shoe was first designed when Michael Jordan was retired for the first time, so in 1994. He did come back and wear the Jordan 10s when he returned in 1995, but the shoe had a 45 on the heel. That was the number he returned with. He did drop 55 in New York in Madison Square Garden with the Jordan 10s on. The Jordan 10 is also the Jordan shoe that had the most OG colorways after the Jordan 1. So there was like a whole city pack with 5 different cities like New York, Sacramento, and a few other cities. And this colorway also came back in 2005 as well as 2013. And after 12 years, it is back again. And first impressions of the Jordan 10 Steel. I love it. I've always said the Jordan 10 is one of the more underrated Jordan retro shoes. It's very simple. I think the silhouette works very well even as a non-basketball looking shoe. Just like casually, it just looks nice. There's something about just how simple it is. It is unique, but it is pretty sleek. I've always loved the Jordan 10s. I also think there's just like a vibe of sophistication with the shape of the Jordan 10, especially from like a bird's eye view. Something about the eyelets and the eye stays, just makes the shoe look, it just elevates it. I really like how this looks. And in terms of the colorway, is it like Michelin star rated delicious? Not really. It's just black and white, but it is as clean as it can get. Quick 5 seconds of your time if you like this video. If you've liked any of my past videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. And the materials on the shoe, it is leather. So on this white overlay, you see pretty textured leather, and it does feel pretty smooth. However, it does feel pretty thin as well. So it's not like the best type of leather or anything. And on the black eye stays, it is synthetic leather, and embossed into the tongue itself, it says Air Jordan 23. And one thing that makes this colorway special in particular, when it was being designed, Tinker Hatfield actually included this toe cap. Michael Jordan wanted it removed, but some Jordan 10s already being produced, so some still got out, but eventually Jordan 10s did remove this toe cap, and I think I'm gonna have to agree with the goat here. I don't like how it looks. Gonna be honest, it kind of looks like not a huge fan. I really do like Jordan 10s without that look, but it is meant to represent like the original form, the very original form of the Jordan 10 Steel. So if you're into that toe cap look, this one is special. And moving on the tongue, you see this a unique lacing system. So these eyelet loops are like external, and in between each eyelet is this kind of elastic. And this shoe doesn't come with any extra laces, just black laces out of the box. I think black is probably the most perfect for this colorway. And then moving on to the booty of the shoe, you get this stitched Jumpman. So what's interesting is when the Jordan 10 first came out, the pairs that were made in Korea actually had the Jumpman like facing each other on each shoe, and the Jordan 10s made in Taiwan had the Jumpman facing the same direction, so both facing left. So the retros, like in the one in 2013, they had it facing both left, but this one has it facing opposite each other. And I must say, I do like this look much more. And on this ankle collar, you'll see this kind of checkerboard pattern on a very simple looking shoe. That is one thing that is probably the most unsimple or complex, I guess, because it does stand out. And in terms of cushioning, the Jordan 10 does come with a 5-long midsole with a full-length Nike Air unit. So pretty standard for tech specs at the time. And I'm happy to say the sole here, it is just white, no sail, none of this pre-aging thing, to a beautiful white OG colorway. And in terms of the outsole, this is probably my favorite thing about the Jordan 10. It's probably a lot of people's favorite thing about the Jordan 10. It lists a bunch of accomplishments for Michael Jordan at the time. And remember, this was designed when he was retired. They thought he was done, so the accomplishments were meant to be like permanent. That was all he was going to achieve. So things like the 93 MVP championship, the 92 MVP championship, 91 MVP and championship, and 1990 scores 69 points, 1989 all defense, 1988 dunk champ, 1987 scoring title, 1986 63 points against the Boston Celtics, 1985 Rookie of the Year. And this powder blue Jumpman, that is true to the OG form. And the retros, it came with a red Jumpman here. Glad they reverted back. Just makes it true to the original colorway. And yeah, very, very unique outsole. Still one of a kind. And the insole of the shoe, it is a Dream Cell insole, so nothing like super nice. And it is powder blue with black Nike Air printed here. Now, powder blue is special because in the OG 1994 steel colorway came with blue insoles, but in the retros it came with red, but they have corrected it. And the box of the shoe, I love the box. Look how good that looks. It has the Wings logo in the middle, 1985 to 2025, so it is actually updated. And you'll see like the Jordan 1s on the side, wrapping all the way to the Jordan 9s here. Of course, the Jordan 10 is in this box, and a bunch of vintage Michael Jordan photos, and inside, just brown paper. This box is actually not the same box that we saw in 1994, the OG version of the shoe, but I still love how this looks. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For Jordan 10s, I go true to size. I will say it's a pretty snug fit. That's usually how I like my shoes. There was no pain though in like the arch area, so it's not like the Jordan 12s where this bit can come up pretty high, but in the toe area, it can feel pretty snug. I don't think I would go up half a size, but if you have wide and flat feet, you don't mind a looser type of fit, you could go up half a size. Personally for me, I stuck true to size, and I think it feels pretty good, especially after I break it in, so true to size it is. Overall comfort, I think the Jordan 10's actually pretty comfortable. It hugs your feet pretty nicely, the way this elastic kind of tightens everything even after you tighten the laces. It just feels like you're wearing a shoe that's kind of an extension of your foot, even though it's not like a super light shoe where you basically forget you're wearing anything on feet. But yeah, I like it. And in terms of the cushioning, like underfoot, still pretty flat to the ground. It was a basketball shoe after all. But if you're used to like any Jordan retros, the way it feels, you're not really going to be surprised. It's not like super responsive Cushlon or like Zoom X or anything that you see on modern day Jordan shoes, but for the time, I think it's pretty comfortable. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 10 Steel to 30 out of 40. Pretty good score compared to other general releases. First, it is colorway. How can you really hate a black and white shoe with a bit of gray? You can't. You can't. You got to be like a psychopath. They hate it. You might think it's okay, you might think it's nice, you might think it's great, but you can't dislike it. Is it like super special? Not really. Is it my favorite OG Jordan 10 colorway? No, the Shadow is probably my favorite OG colorway, but yeah, so clean. And in terms of the materials, I don't think it's like the best leather or anything. It feels pretty thin, does feel soft, so that does feel good to the touch at least, but in a vacuum, it is not like super premium materials. In terms of comfort, I think the Jordan 10s are actually a pretty comfortable shoe on feet. It is snug, it wraps around your feet very nicely. The cushioning isn't anything special, but for a shoe that came out before the year 2000, how can you expect much more? And in terms of the versatility, I think the Jordan 10 are one of the more versatile Jordan retro shoes. 1s, 3s, 4s, 5s are probably a bit more wearable. They've kind of crossed over into the mainstream, but the Jordan 10, even though it doesn't come back often, even though it's often overlooked as well, I think it's really easy to wear. In terms of the wearability of the colorway, again, super easy to wear. You can't really get easier than black and white with some shades of light gray, no other bold colors that's offensive. The powder blue might be the brightest and unwearable color on the shoe, but not really, and it's hidden. So yeah, very versatile sneaker. We're so used to Jordan 1s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s to some extent come back so often that when another Jordan shoe comes back, it really really gets me excited. I've always loved this shoe, this silhouette, and even though I still don't have a private jet like that kid's parents that I mentioned at the beginning of my video, at least I can say we both have a pair of Jordan 10 steals. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 10 steel. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.